What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people when I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on? Is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Why did I forget my other laptop? I'm going to have to go and get my other laptop. We'll figure it out. What's going on, friends? I see Aaliyah already holding me accountable. Is already holding me accountable. I'm not late. I'm on time. You know how I know I'm not late, Aaliyah? You know how I know I'm not late, Aaliyah? AALIYAH. Anton, you late as hell, but how you doing today, King? You know how I know I'm not late? Cause I don't even work for nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't work for nobody. Late is for people that have to subject themselves to the will of another man. And I do not. I do not. Late is for people that have to subject themselves to the will of another man. And I do not. As a matter of fact, watch this. I'm about to go get my other laptop. See? I don't get no pink slips. I don't get no write-ups. I don't get none of that. What's going on, friends and family? How y'all feeling today? Y'all feeling good? I'm feeling incredible. I am. I'm feeling incredible. You know why? You know why? You know I'm feeling incredible? Because when I was praying this morning, God said, "See, told you. You was right. You were right. I said, God, what you mean I was right? What do you mean? Remember when I told y'all that it was going to be a class war? Aha. Aha. I warned you guys. I said, y'all better gird up. I know everybody is out here during the pandemic getting their life on, getting a swerve on when everybody else was having a good time. And they said, hey, remember when people were sitting there telling me and they said, Anton, what are you doing getting another job? What are you doing working in corporate America? What are you doing this and doing that? And I said, listen, guys, there's a time for feast and there's a time for famine. You need to gird up. It's going to get interesting out here because in order for you to go through a correction, I need y'all to hear this and understand this. In order for there to be a correction, there has to be suffering. You're not hearing what I'm saying. In order for there to be a correction so that we get yourself back on the right path, there has to be suffering. And nobody wants to suffer. Everybody just want to have good times 100% of the time. You were not promised a great time for the rest of your life. There has to be suffering. And so in order for there to be a correction, there has to be some uncomfortability. And I've been warning people. I was telling y'all for years over and over again. I said, listen, this is about to happen. And I said, I'm going to remind you. And I'm going to come back to the front of the congregation. I'm going to tell you, food stamps, we're going to talk about it. Food stamps, we're going to talk about it. Layoffs, we're going to talk about it. The great divide between the haves and the have-nots, we're going to talk about it. Socialism, capitalism, repossessions, we're going to talk about it. But see, I'm not just going to put it up here and have a conversation with you guys and say, hey guys, this is what's happening. I'm also going to be solutions based. I'm also going to be solutions based. I'm going to help you help yourself. Because for far too long, you know how people always telling you, hey man, black women, white women, black men, they always come to you and they say, hey, what are you going to do for the community? No, what are you going to do for yourself? What are you going to do for yourself? It's not about what somebody else can do for you. It's about what you're going to do for yourself. See, 29 South, you talking about divide and conquer, that's not the play. That's not it. It ain't got nothing to do with divide and conquer. It has everything to do with right and wrong and truth versus lies. Everything to do with right and wrong, truth versus lies. You say, Anton, your name is ringing in these streets. Well, you're going to have to get used to it, big dog. Because this is the thing that I will guarantee you. My name will always ring in these streets. Well, after I'm gone, as much as they don't want to admit it, my name will always be my name is my name. And the more visibility that you get, the more your name is going to ring in the streets. And it is what it is. And so you're just going to have to get used to it. Get used to me. Buckle up, Buttercup. I'm going to be here for a while. Buckle up, Buttercup. I'm going to be here for a while. So y'all ready to get into the show? All right, let's get into the show then. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. First things first, always want to give credit to the chasers. Salute to the chasers. If you're a bag chaser, we got a live stream coming up this week, probably Wednesday. Wednesday, we got a live stream, and we're going in a stock club this week. Yeah. Stock club is this week. First of all, I also want to say what up to my dog, Ray Sean. Ray Sean, text me, big dog. Ray Sean, text me. Hit me with the 50 ball. Appreciate you. Also, my dog, Spencer Campbell. What up, Spence? Mike that dude. I appreciate you, Mike that dude. And my dog, Christopher Williams. What up, Christopher Williams? I appreciate you. Christopher Williams. I appreciate you. Hey, let me also say this to y'all because a lot of y'all really don't understand the name of the game, but you want to be in this content creation game. If they are not talking to you, you do not exist. What is the point of being in content creation if nobody cares that you exist? It's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. What is the point of being a content creator if nobody cares about what you think and the only thing that everybody talks about, or the only thing that you talk about, is what everybody else thinks? What's the point? What's the point? I learned a long time ago, back in Hollywood and stuff like that, when they used to talk about vlogs and everything. When they used to do the paparazzi and they would be following people around, and then they would be like, "Oh my God, no! I don't want you to videotape me. I don't want you to be there. I don't want you to do that for me," and all of this other type of stuff. And I was thinking to myself, y'all want to be in the limelight. You want the visibility. You want people to talk about you. It's not a big laptop. This is the MacBook Pro. It's a 16-inch. It's the same size as this one. You got the black one. They call it slate. You know, Apple liked it, but it's the same one. See them? Just got to get two different colors. This is the one I travel with. This is the one I leave inside of the Millionaire Morning Show. It's just the same laptops. And then people start getting so desperate to where they started calling the paparazzi on themselves because they wanted to seem like they had motion. You know what I'm saying? So what up? What up? What up? Y'all ready to get started with the show? Let me read some of these super chats. Super chats. Let me see what we got here. Hold on. I got you, big dog. After hours, the culture. Bam. Chris Cunningham says, "Yo, AD, give me my EBT November 1st. I'm a boss." Are y'all seeing that video? We talk about it all today. Aaliyah Summer says, "Why you stunting on me? I'm trying to have you stunting on me." But see, I'm telling you, man, Aaliyah got this situation where it's a him downstairs situation. Maybe she don't. I don't know. Let's test it out. Let's see. Let us pray. What was your second question? Why am I stunting on you? What's the problem? Wait. Say what? Hold on. Wait. You said I'm doing what?
You was stunting on me.
I'm not stunting on you.
You said, "Look, let me get up. I can go get my laptop." That's for employed people only. My fault. I gotta, feel me. I gotta be on time. I don't like nothing late. I don't like no late, nothing late. I need everything on time.
That's because you're working for the wrong people. You got to work for me.
So what we talking about? What we doing?
I don't know. You got that. See, you be misunderstanding because you from New York.
I'm not misunderstanding you. I hear you loud and clear. I'm very understanding.
Where him downstairs at?
Him downstairs is at work.
So how you gonna come here?
What you mean? I'm 23. I can.
You young.
I'm young. And I can do what I want. I have all the time in the world. So yeah.
All right, bet. I'm gonna call you when I get off the stream.
Okay.
She said him at work. She said him at work. All right, we're gonna find out. We gonna find out. We gonna find out. What up, all production? I appreciate you for holding us down, big dog. Thank you. Just saying good afternoon. What up, Mr. Bibbs? My Detroit brethren in the building. Avenue 77. I kind of like that name. Avenue 77. It's crazy how different presidents gets in office and fund millions and billions to other countries for wars and etc., but never gives the American people at least 6K every 4 years. Just a thought. Never gives the American people at least 6K every 4 years. What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know what that means, Avenue 77. You got to give me some insight. Mr. Lot, what up, Mr. Lot? What up, though, bro? Saw you. You was a few rows up at the Pistons game, or saw you a few rows up at the Pistons game, but didn't get a chance to stop by. P.S. I encourage everyone to treat themselves to the good life for once. It will inspire you and never go back. Salute to the chasers. So, Mr. Lot, let me tell you something. So I ran into some people inside of the Players Club or whatever. And so they said, yo, Mr. Lot is here, whatever. And so I said, well, where is he at? They said, he up, and then they pointed up like this. So I'm looking back trying to find you, and I couldn't find you. They had already told me you was there, and I couldn't find you. I'm like, where is he at? And so they said you was in the Reman's Club. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to have to hit him up later. Hit me up, bro. Call me. Black Ink says, yo, AD, did you know that the NYC has a department of aging? I did not know that. And there's something called ageism. King Manasseh said, let's have a good show. What up, King? Time for you to clack back in. See, you working for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know your true value. They don't know your true value. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me see something. Before we get started with the show, give me a second. I need to see something real quick. Know what my life is coming to.
Hello.
What is the problem? I'm on a live stream.
What?
I'm on a live stream. What is the problem?
There's no problem with me. What are you talking about?
Do I need to call you afterwards?
No, you need to call whoever you was about to call.
Don't act like that.
I don't know what you're
Don't act like that. Don't act like that.
Child, I'm minding my business over here in the DMV.
I'll call you later.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck my life is coming. Y'all ready to get started with the show, man? No, what my life is just coming to. All right, man. So, we're gonna have a good show. And it's gonna be a good life. And we enjoy we're gonna enjoy life. Woo! Oh man. I need to just start this over. I need to start this over completely and just get up out of here. Let's get into the show, y'all. All right, let's start here. We're gonna jump around a bit. What is it? Is that right? That can't be right. I thought I had that right. Hold on, let me see something. Oh, because that's 5. Is that 6? Is that 5 or 6? Boom. All right. Gotta make sure that my lower thirds is right and that everything is good out here in these streets. Y'all want to start with prayer? All right, let's start over. Lord, bless life to be good, bless things to go well. Good energy, lots of money, good times, fun times, great entertainment, and bless the bag chasers to run up several millions of dollars of bags. And life is good in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, let's get back into the show. All right. So, what just happened? Look at how that worked. All right, there we go. All right. So, the first thing that I want to start with is this video where this woman is speaking about being misunderstood in corporate culture. And I know you don't know what it means, but I'm going to share it with you. And then I want you to tell me what y'all thoughts are. I'm going to check into the chat, and then I want y'all to tell me what y'all thoughts are.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but the Black community has to stop with the internalized racism. So 2 stories. One, I work in an office at a tech company. I also go to school in the evenings getting my MBA. So I'm leaving, I'm on the elevator. I'm looking forward to class or whatever. 2 Black girls get on the elevator and they're like, oh, it's 4:30. Yep, I remember when I used to be a BDR. I've never been a BDR in my life. Just to level set, if you don't work in sales, BDR means business development rep. It's usually first job you get out of college. And also there are a lot of Black people in that role because it's kind of entry level. I have never been an account executive, never been a BDR. My background is engineering. I'm an engineer. So me, I'm just like, damn, I'm vibed out. I really don't care. But if I was in a different mood, I probably would have called her out. Because why do you make that assumption that I am the lowest level in the sales organization, let alone the lowest level in an organization typically? Second example, I'm getting my lashes done, and one of the lash techs has a new client, and the client is in scrubs, and they're talking, and the lady's like, oh, I haven't had lashes in a while, like I'm super busy with my work. And immediately she says, oh, are you a nurse? And the lady's like, I'm a physician, an OBGYN. And I'm just like, yes, why do we have to, and not we as a collective, but why do some people have to immediately say, oh, they're just a nurse? Why can't we immediately say, oh, you're a doctor? Or just say, are you a doctor or a nurse? Like, maybe I'm strict, but we need to recognize that some of this is internalized racism.
All right. So, what she's basically saying is that we are experiencing internalized, and she used this specific phrase, okay? She said this is internalized racism because when she got into the elevator with other Black people, Black women specifically, they assumed that she was in on the ground level. I'm assuming that maybe she's some sort of software engineer or something like that, right? Network engineer, software engineer, because she said that she works at a tech company. And so she basically said that when she got into the elevator with other women, that they assumed that she was coming in on the ground floor because not only is she an engineer, but she's also in school, going to school at nighttime in order to get her master's degree, so on and so forth. That was her first example. Her second example was she was going to get her lashes done, and another woman that was in scrubs were getting her lashes done, and the lash tech asked her, they said something, and then she basically was saying, oh, you a nurse? And so the lash tech was like, no, I'm a physician, right? And so her conclusion was that there's a level of internalized racism that comes along with the assumption that because you work in a specific field, or when you get into a certain position or work for a certain company, that you must be the help. You must be in the mailroom. You must be call center, whatever. The assumption is never that you're an executive, you're some kind of engineer, you're a physician, you're a lawyer, or anything like that, right? And so that is correct. Throwing stereotypes at her. Now, when I first heard this, when I very first heard the video, when I heard like the first 15 seconds of it, at first I was like, yeah, that kind of makes sense, aside from the internalized racism part. But then I listened to the whole video and I sat back for about 2 minutes. Literally, I sat back for about 2 minutes and I realized that this is why you need a mentor. This is why you need a mentor. Let me explain. Stereotypes are earned. They are not given, they are earned. So if somebody by default assumes that you are on the ground floor or you this and you that, it's the right assumption. When I worked for Comerica Bank and when I worked for Flagstar Bank, I would go in, and I told y'all this inside of the Patreon, so this is not new information. I would go in and I wouldn't do any work at work. The only actual physical work that I would do at work was going to my meetings. But anytime that I didn't have a meeting, I would actually go and make my rounds. So I was one of the rare people that didn't just go and do their job. And I know a lot of people here, y'all just go and do your job and that's it. And that's cool. I think that that's a great thing. You go in, you do your job. Maybe y'all should stop gossiping so much, but go in, do your job, and you go home. That way you can keep your job. But for those of you that actually wanted to move up in corporate America, you would realize that it's not about what you do, because the expectation is for you to be the best person at your job, but it's also about your ability to be likable. You have to be a cultural fit. People have to like you, know you. They want to look for you. When an opportunity opens itself up, you have to make friends and people want to promote you. And so it's not about, and this is one of the things that women don't understand, it's not about how good you are. It's if you are a likable person and a cultural fit. So a part of my job, which I didn't need to do this, but I wanted to be the best at everything that I do. Part of my job as a person that was overseeing UX UI was I needed to understand everything that everybody does. And so I would go to every floor from the basement all the way to the top. And I would make my rounds and I would meet people and I would talk to people and I would ask them and I would just drum up a conversation out of nowhere and say, hey, what do you guys do up here? Oh, okay. Well, what do you got that up there for? Well, did y'all ever do a study on the gamification and see how that would affect your numbers? And so I would ask questions, I would talk to people, whatever. And of course I was dressed up, and I would have my shirt tucked in and my slacks. And often at times I either had a blazer or a suit coat, and I would talk to people. And they would get curious, like, who is this guy? Because we've never seen a person in a position of power that looks like us in this area. What y'all don't really understand is if you really want to look at the separation between class, the separation between true education and fields that matter, and if you really want to see what the divide looks like, go in corporate America. It has never been any more visible than right there. Because listen, I'm going to keep it 100. I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. The black people, mailroom, security, call center. Mailroom, security, call center. Asian people, technical, and then some jobs up the ladder. Directors. Indian people, all of the above, no call center. Most of the time it was just technical. Some of them had upward mobility. C-suite, white, Indian, Asian. Zero black people. Now, some people will say, well, that's just because of racism or whatever. It's not. Because if you go into the colleges and take it all the way back to the colleges, and all of y'all talking about that y'all the most educated, and you're the most enrolled, and you got all of these degrees, but you're not getting them in the fields that matter. You're not getting them. Men get them sometimes, but they're not becoming engineers in mass. They're not becoming doctors in mass. They're not becoming lawyers in mass. They are choosing the lowest. When people come to me, when most of the time when black people come to me and they say, hey, I'm ready to get my life together, they usually do this. All right, Anton, I hear you saying that you need to get in information technology, that this is where the industry is going, AI. Man, so should I just take a crash course? They don't ask me, okay, what fields of study do I need to get my degree in? What is the 3 to 4 year to 5 year ladder for me to be able to get to the next level? Do I need a master's degree in this, and how difficult the field is? Because we automatically assume that all we can do is jump, hoop, and rap and spit a couple bars. Yo. And so if we not fucking water waving or dunking a basketball, we just automatically lose out on any opportunity, but we don't want to know who owned the team. We just want to know who putting hoops up. That's why I say that celebrity culture for me is dead, because it's not about the entertainment part. That's why I say put the medicine inside of the candy. It's not about the entertainment. It's about whether or not you are making the strides to make money for the next 50 years. You know why doctors are so bad with their money? Doctors are some of the most horrible people I've ever met as far as coaching with money. Doctors are horrible. Most of them they spend their money as fast as they can get it. They don't care. But you know why they feel like they can do that? It's because they know for the next 50 years, for the next 49 years, all right, I'm going to get it together. And they're right. And so they mess up a bag, they trick off the money, and they make a whole lot of money, and then they're going to come back next year and they're going to make a whole lot more money, and they're going to do the same thing next year, but they're going to chip away a little bit at a time. And then after the first 20 years of fumbling the bag, the last 30 years, they're going to get it together. And they're right. And they have the ability to do that because they chose a career field and they made the short-term investment, making sure that they stay down for the first 7 to 10 years so that they can do what they want to do for the rest of their life. So what I would say to this young woman, and let me bring it back around for you guys, is that she has to give grace. When I would be in corporate America and they would ask me and they would say, what do you do? Because I ain't never seen you on this flow. And it usually be a little knock-kneed young lady that's trying to get saved. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her. And I'll say, ha. Ha. But no, I will play it low because any guy that knows, and I know that a lot of y'all ain't been raised by y'all fathers, and so you ain't never had no brothers, so you don't understand how to talk to women. But in real life, you downplay it. Oh, I just work on the 3rd floor. I'm just trying to, nah, it ain't that big of a deal. So you downplay it. The suckers lead with it. Ha, yeah, I'm the lead engineer of so-and-so and so-and-so. No, you ain't got to do all that. They know you a man of importance. They understand. They could tell by the way you walk. They can tell by the questions that you ask. They can tell just because you communicate a lot more effectively. They can tell because all of the other dudes that's around is tensing up a little bit more and like, who is this nigga? They can tell by the dirty Mac, and the dirty Macing alone gives you importance. So you don't have to say nothing. You don't have to say, you ain't got to do all of that. You could just chill. Sometimes I'll be on the 3rd floor. I spend the majority of my time walking around though. I ain't trying to be over there. They gonna figure you out. They gonna look you up on the org chart. They got access. They're going to go online and they're going to look you up in the org chart. They're going to look you up in the org chart. They're going to figure out who you are. Right? They want to know now. But then after they get over all of that extra stuff, right? And because they're going to straighten up around you. They're not going to talk to them, talk to their friends on the floor the same way that they talk to you. They're going to straighten up. But then they get curious. And this is not just corporate America. This is also real life. Because at first, people reject you. Then they get curious. And afterwards, they want to know how you got there. Some of them. Some of them going to hate. And the other ones is going to try to figure out how you got there. Because that's just a part of the culture. You hate what's not like you. And then other people silently get curious. And that's why a lot of y'all right here, right now, is sitting in here and y'all became bag chasers. You know why we got such a movement? You know why people can't figure out why we have such a movement over here on the Anton Daniels channel and the bag chasers? Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. You know why they can't figure it out? Because they don't realize that there are a group of people that then get curious and say, you know what? Because you got to go home. right? And when you see me get in my Porsche and you trying to figure out why it's called a Porsche, because you've been calling it Porsche your entire life, but it's really a Porsche. And you see me get in my Porsche and you look out the window and you see me get in mine, and then you got to go home, you going to get curious and you going to say, wait a minute. I don't really want to live like this no more. I'm tired of going paycheck to paycheck. I'm tired of just being at the bottom floor. I'm tired of just scraping by. I'm tired of going into, the cash advance place. I'm tired of doing this. I want to do something different. Then that's when a life decision kicks into place. Because once you open up your mind to the curiosity, and the reason why I'm saying this is because if you are successful, give grace. And I ain't talking about online, I'm talking about real life. If people assume that you are just the person that came in on the ground floor or whatever, give grace and then live it. Be the fruit that they can see. You will know them by their fruits. Give grace, because that is the norm within our culture for us to only do the bare minimum to get by. And that's not to say it's not a lot of successful people, but the culture is separate from the people. People are not a monolith, but the culture is the thing that we promote and we celebrate the most. Give grace, because that is our culture. Our culture is the degeneracy. Our culture is pushing only that we only gonna celebrate and you don't know anybody except for the people that's the basketball players and the football players. Our culture is boxolitis and boxolitis alone and not having any big discipline. Our culture is A, B, C, and D. And so give grace, but also allow for them to be curious, allow for them to criticize you, and allow for them to ultimately make the decision of whether or not they want to change their life. Because the only way that you can change somebody's perception of their own life, not even of yours, because you're going to live your life. The only way that you can change the perception for their selves, to open up the door for them to start questioning what they thought was normal, is to be the light, is to be the fruit. Of course they're going to hate you. Of course they're going to talk about you. That comes with the territory. They talk about everybody. They talk about Jesus. They still criticize Jesus today, and he laid his life down so that people can actually have a comforter. But you have to be the fruit. I don't like street preachers. And the reason that I don't like street preachers is because it's not effective. Because the way that you turn somebody over, because salvation is individual, but the only way that somebody can actually go and seek and find Christianity is that God has to prick their hearts, but they have to discover it through you. The only way they can discover it is by looking at you and saying, wait a minute, what is different about him? Why is he successful? And this is applicable across the board. Somebody is going to get curious, and then out of 100 people, one of them is going to say, hey, y'all go ahead, I'm going to stay back. And then they're going to reach out and they're going to say, hey, how can I get in contact with you? Where you be at? What's going on with you? The 99 is going to fall off a cliff, and they going to ignore it and try to keep doing what it is that they want to do. And then they're going to justify it by making you a villain. The 1% is the ones that you got to worry about. It's the one. And that's how you turn people over to success. That's how you turn people over to marriage. That's how you turn people over to financial success. That's how you turn people over to a greater spiritual life. Stop worrying about what everybody else is saying. Stop focusing on normalizing. Oh, normalize. This is internalized racism. It ain't no internalized racism. It's ignorance. They don't know no better. So they do what it is that they've been taught to do by people that they've worshiped up to this point, because they ain't never seen nobody like you. You weird to them. You're weird to them. When you come up and you know how to speak, and you're eloquent, and you're groomed, and your breath smells good, and you ain't got no illegitimate children, and you start to also become successful, and you build real estate, and you don't have no debt, and
You're not financing your lifestyle, and you're not the one that's complaining about food stamps. You weird. You're a weirdo. Now, in your mind, it's like, no, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is normal. You're a weirdo to them. You're weird. But once you understand how weird you are to other people, you won't complain about the fact that you have been criticized by them. You're weird. And that's okay. Because eventually, they'll start to transition over once they discover that it's a better way forward. Because ignorance is not a bad thing. It just means that they don't know any better. Charlie says, for example, Jesus commanded us to preach to every creature. Have you asked him what your ministry is, though? Because just because you start saying stuff don't mean anything. Don't nobody care about what you got to say. You ain't put in no work. Before Jesus ever started preaching, he was on this earth for well over 30 years putting in the work. You got to understand the context. Your ministry ain't to be out there talking about it. Your ministry may be something that is a reflection. You may draw people in on this front. You may draw people in on this front. Preaching comes in multiple different forms. The goal is to win souls. It's a lot of people that's preaching and they don't even know what they're talking about. A lot of people is talking and preaching and they don't know nothing about what they're talking about. A lot of them. Whole lot of them. Begging. Ain't never had a job in their life. Begging. Ain't never had a job in their life. Somebody said, and that's right, and don't call women a bitch. Well, don't be a bitch. We address people by their surname. If you're not a hoe, because, we got to address the whores as call it what it is. Tell the truth. And shame that he ain't tell us to lie to you. I ain't going to lie to you. If you're a whore, you're a whore. It just is what it is. If you're a respectable woman, then I will address you as such. Stop demanding titles that you don't deserve. You're not a woman. You want to be a man. Stop demanding titles that you don't deserve. You're not a man. You want to be a woman. Now you want to be respected. You disrespected yourself. Y'all got a lot of nerve. Y'all got a lot of nerve. You got a lot of nerve demanding respect for something you ain't never earned. Everybody want to be a king and queen, but you asking for food stamps. I don't respect you. I don't respect you. Let's get it. Let's get it. It's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great week. It's going to be a great week, ain't it? It's going to be one of them weeks. Yeah. Yeah. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Beans and Greens says, my mom asked me over the weekend if I'd heard of you. I said yes. She said, I like him. Told her you are cool, but to stay off a Millionaire Morning Show. Room 9 and after hours because of derailments and spicy content. She's 76. So, hey, you know who like me the most? People over 70. What's up? What's up, Mon Dukes? What's up, Beans and Greens, Mom? Hey, they get it. They get it. The people been waiting on somebody to tell them the truth. The people been waiting for me. I'm here now. I'm here now. What up, Lex? You looking radiant today, AD. God bless you. And shout out to the bag chasers. Thank you, Lex. Look how smooth. It's that Tiege. 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Yeah. Mr. St. James, 45, says, I received my master's in social work in December, but I want to leave the field and get into business and get an MBA. What's your thoughts? Why are you working so hard in a field that you don't even plan on being in? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I need more context because I'm trying to figure out why you so heavy into a field and working so hard in a field that you don't plan on sticking around in. What is that about? Got to give me some more context, big dog. All right, let's get into it. So we're going to start over in Philadelphia, ladies and gentlemen. Philadelphia, all right? Over in Philly. Nope, that's not right. Over in Philly, major drug bust, Cash Patel. We know he just came off of major busts with the NBA and the Mafia and La Sinaloa cartel and all of that. Well, they said that they also, Trump and team is cleaning up the streets of Philadelphia. Check it out.
Developing tonight, an historic drug bust, part of a nearly decades-long investigation with the FBI, right? In Kensington, and the director of the FBI says this is the largest takedown he's ever seen, and everyone should be paying attention.
We have permanently removed a drug trafficking organization out of the streets of Philadelphia, and they're going to stop pouring guns and chemicals and drugs into our communities, and our children are safer today.
The bust happened in the area of Clearfield and F Streets. Our Chris O'Connell has been following this story since it broke this morning. And Chris, this could change everything.
That is right, Dawn. What has been described as one of the most prolific drug trafficking organizations in Kensington has now been eliminated, according to the FBI. 33 people have been indicted on drug trafficking charges targeting Philadelphia's most notorious opioid operation. FBI agents surrounding several homes on the 3100 block of Weymouth Street after an early morning federal raid across several Kensington blocks.
Occupants of 726 Clearfield, this is the FBI. Come out the front door with your hands up.
Video shows agents busting into several homes on the block. Loudspeakers were heard, demanding suspects come out. The entire neighborhood blocked off with hundreds of law enforcement. And about 8 hours later, officials say they dismantled a decade-long, 24-hour open-air drug market at the epicenter of Kensington.
This is exactly how you safeguard American lives. You go after the organizations that are inflicting pain across America.
FBI Director Cash Patel announcing the indictment of the Weymouth Street drug gang. The 170-page indictment outlined how the gang was run by two main leaders, identified as Jose Antonio Morales Nieves and Roman Montañez. The indictment says they flaunted their enterprise like a successful business, even writing down work schedules for dealers and lookouts. Of the 33 indicted, 29 are now in custody.
This indictment alleges that the Weymouth Street drug trafficking organization, for nearly a decade, sold and distributed substantial volumes of fentanyl, crack cocaine, and heroin.
The FBI is still collecting evidence, but say they've already confiscated drugs and dozens of guns.
These are federal offenses. They're going into federal court to be handled by someone I know who's going to take the appropriate action to address this behavior.
It's one of those few cases which, if successful, will eliminate an entire criminal outfit. It will clean and cleanse a whole neighborhood and will virtually eradicate a violent drug trafficking organization root and stem.
The U.S. Attorney says it's the largest indictment of its kind in over a century. They say it's what can happen when you unleash multiple layers of law enforcement on a single issue. Philly's top cop says there's more to come.
What is the solution to solving for the problems that happens in the communities? What's the solution, y'all? I tend to believe that the solution is to actually solve for crime and lock up the people that are benefiting off of poverty, drug addiction, trafficking, opioid crisis, fentanyl. I believe that there should be a multi-layered approach, a tiered approach. I see that Trump is doing his job and making sure they blow up every drug boat that come out of Venezuela, right? We see that they also doing a job and trying to stop the fentanyl from bleeding over here into the United States of America from China. And then they're also having a third front where they're actually, stopping the drug dealers and entire criminal organizations from distributing it into urban communities. Now, we know that the Trump administration is not going to get no credit for this. We know that the Trump administration is going to get zero credit for this, but it's okay though. It's okay though. Because now, if you wanted to know who was out here distributing and running it up the block and actually scheduling themselves as though they were working a full-time job, if you want to know what was going on, this is the crew that was doing it. They had over a 10-year run. Let me say that again. Well over a decade run. So you're telling me that over the last 4 years, that over all of this time with them posting all of this information on Instagram and social media and all of this stuff, that we couldn't get this within the last 5 at least? But now Trump is deploying the right people like Kash Patel in order to do something about it. So what they've decided to do is not necessarily go and get a bunch of community organizations, not defund the police. They didn't say we're going to stop the gang members from going out there and doing something to each other. I can't stand that approach. I can't stand that approach because you know what it doesn't do? It doesn't stop the crime. It doesn't stop the drugs. It doesn't stop the drug dealers, and it doesn't stop the fentanyl from coming over here and being filtered into the streets. So you could sit here and say that you're negotiating a truce amongst all of the other people that are doing stuff that are violent crimes. But I'll tell you, there is no more violent crime than actually getting somebody addicted and then having them have crack babies inside of the community. We could sit here and pretend like the killing and the stealing and all of that is cool. But see, one thing I've always heard liberals say and Democrats say is that you got to get to the core of the problem. The core of the problem is not necessarily pumping more money into people's pockets so that they can go and buy more drugs. The core of the problem is that we not actually stopping the people that are filling the streets in these communities with some of the worst things and the worst addictions that you'll ever see in your entire life. Because see, once they get you hooked for life. Once they get you hooked for life. I seen some of the baddest chicks. I seen some of the baddest chicks that if they wasn't on that boy, they will probably be some of the chicks that y'all will be worshiping and trying to get up in these streets. Some of the baddest chicks get with some of the worst dudes, and you know what the first thing that they do? Get them addicted. They get them addicted. The first thing that they do with these bad chicks that mess with the wrong dudes is that they start introducing them slowly but surely. First, hey, you smoke? Okay. Then they lace it. You smoke? You drink? And you know you ain't supposed to be there. Yeah, I smoke, I drink. And then they lace it. And you can't understand what it is, but they're going to give you more and they're going to give you more. Next thing you know, you strung out and you sucking cock in the back of a backyard and an abandoned school and in a trap house. And you don't even realize how you got there. 2 years later, you doing stuff with people you would have never even been around in your life. Now you stuck. And you become a baby mama with crack babies. Then you become addicted to Section 8, and then you got generational curses. And then your kid come out addicted because they having to withdraw from your body because you the person that had them and you don't even realize it. But see, we don't want to get to the core root of the problem. We don't want to get to the core root of the problem because they ain't really solving for the problem. But now we got a director that's in there that's that's celebrating the fact that they are getting people off the streets. Super Gaming says, hey, Anton, it's the Millionaire Morning Show, not after hours. Yeah, it's the Millionaire Morning Show. Listen. All right, so let me ask y'all a question. Would y'all prefer for us to talk about fluff, or do y'all want to get to the core of it? Because listen, if y'all want fluff, you can see and let the producers give y'all some scripted stuff, and they can make y'all feel good about yourselves and try to act like everything is cool. But I'm telling you the real. I'm telling you what really happens in real life. What really happens in real life, bro. I'm going to give it to you for real,
I will say to anyone out there.
Real talk.
For the sweeping federal raid being called one of the largest in Philadelphia history. Tonight, dozens have been indicted in an alleged drug ring stretching from Kensington to Puerto Rico. The FBI revealed today that 33 people have now been charged, 30 taken into custody, all of it following a very visible raid just before 11 a.m. today. Dozens of FBI agents descending on a home here along Weymouth Street in Kensington, as police tell it that street was the nexus of a sprawling drug enterprise. Action News reporter Amy McCormick live at the FBI building in Center City tonight. Amy, this operation brought the FBI director to Philadelphia today.
Yeah, and that's how important it was to the agency. Both the FBI director and also the U.S. Attorney, Brian, calling this a historic gang takedown for a gang that they say took over a portion of Kensington. FBI agents at Allegheny and Weymouth Streets this morning raiding this Kensington block in what officials are calling a historic federal indictment.
We have permanently removed a drug trafficking organization out of the streets of Philadelphia, and they're going to stop pouring guns and chemicals and drugs into our communities.
FBI Director Kash Patel in Philadelphia today. The target, the Weymouth Street Gang, described as violent drug traffickers who ran this part of Kensington operating like a business. The organization also has connections to New Jersey, Delaware, and Puerto Rico. Officials say these photos that are part of the indictment reference the violent nature of the gang, with associates threatening to harm people if they went to authorities.
It's a massive drug trafficking conspiracy spanning nearly a decade, involving tremendous volumes of fentanyl and narcotics. And it takes place at the epicenter of the opioid crisis.
33 people were indicted, 30 are in custody, and 24 were arrested this morning. The U.S. Attorney singled out the leaders of this drug trafficking organization.
This DTO was led by Jose Antonio Morales Nieves, aka Flaco, a 45-year-old man from Puerto Rico, but a frequent flyer here in Philadelphia, who essentially owned the 3100 block of Weymouth Street and allowed other members of the DTO to sell drugs on the block in exchange for a payment of rent.
Now, sell drugs on the block in exchange for a payment of rent. Now, if I decided that I wanted to jaywalk across the street, there would be police officers there immediately. Woo! Now, these people, they made Big Meech and them look like fools. They've been moving work since work was being moved. These people is out here running up a bag, moving work, taking names, and kicking a-holes. Now, if you decide that you wanted to drive on a suspended license, breaker 1, 2. Hey, we got one. We got a loose one. These dudes been operating inside of the United States of America for well over a decade. And so now you're going to sit here and tell me that nobody knew? I just want to make sure that we all on the same page. Nobody knew? Nobody knew that they was out here operating the way that they was operating. Everybody is surprised. The police officers, the government officials, the people that are responsible for what happens inside of their district on a national level, everybody is confused. Nobody knew that these dudes control entire neighborhoods and was filling the entire community with drugs. Shit, we knew. Anybody that has ever went on YouTube knew. Everybody knew what that Kensington lean is. Everybody knew. We knew. Content creators was going to Philadelphia just to record people on a Fenty lean. Content creators were going to Philadelphia just to record people on a Fenty lean. Everybody knew. And so why did it take for Trump to get in office a second time and for Kash Patel, because Kash Patel is out here doing the Lord's work. He everywhere and every time, all at the same time, and is finally deploying the FBI to do something reasonable. And the FBI is finally showing up at everybody's doors and arresting everybody. But we just now figuring it out, and they didn't know where it was. Instead, they was passing out free needles. Instead, they were passing out free needles. They said, you know what? We need to get in a community organization to make sure they out here passing out free needles and Narcan. Passing out free needles and Narcan. We need to make sure that everybody is okay and that they can use their drugs in a safe space. Let's let them out of jail. No worries. Listen, we're going to deploy our resources to go and chase Diddy. They wasted millions and tens of millions of dollars so that Diddy can get out in less than a year and a half with time served. Now we actually have our government agencies deployed and doing the things that they're supposed to do to now stop the infiltration and the flooding of our communities with the worst things for us. They went, seriously, that was going after Diddy. They was going after the tapes. Congratulations to the people out there. We appreciate you. Philly. Maybe your kids have a chance now. Maybe your kids got a fighting chance after all of that calling to the police and nothing done over the last 10, 12, 13 years. Make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read a couple of super chats, and then we're going to get over to the next part of the show. Haitian Lover says, future bag chaser November 1st, big dog. Shout out to the chasers, man. Shout out to the chasers. Best feeling is success says 26. Mail truck driver making $120K. No debt or rent. Investing $700 a week into retirement and HSA. Thinking of switching to cybersecurity, but hesitant to leave a high-paying job. Any advice? So let me ask you a question. Because I've coached several different truck drivers. Why can't you do both? Why can't you work, do your job? Sounds like you don't have a lot of obligations. Sounds like you don't have any obligations whatsoever. You said you're putting $700 a week, 7, 14, 21, 28. So that's almost $3,000 a month. After taxes, you're probably taking home somewhere about 90-ish. $3,000 a month. $2,800 a month is a little over $30,000 a year. So you got 60, somewhere around 60 and change left. What are you doing with the other 60? Let me tell you something, bro. This is what I would do. This is what I would do. Because somebody say stay where you at. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. But you need to also prepare yourself for the future. If we've learned anything, we should know if you've learned anything, you should know that no industry is safe and no place is secure. So I would always be investing in myself. Listen. This is what I know for sure. I'm getting a crazy bag right now, right? I'm going to use myself as an example. I'm getting a crazy bag right now, right? But I always keep telling y'all that I invest 95% of every single thing that I get into crypto, real estate, my portfolio, as far as this is a small percentage is going into crypto, my portfolio, my brokerage account, stocks. But I've been deploying an ungodly amount of money inside of real estate. Cause I got a 10 to 15 year plan, big dog. I got a 10 to 15 year plan. My goal, all right. A lot of people don't know what my goal is when it comes to real estate and why I share so much information inside of the Bag Chasers. And the reason why I show the receipts and I share so much information inside of the Bag Chasers, is because me being successful won't hurt you also being successful. My goal is to have at least 100 properties, buying them, building them, so on and so forth. 100 properties, because see, like I did the video on Flux. Shout out to Flux City. He got the most views that he never had before. And I was telling him that he was going to win. We're going to do another one at a new property. My goal is to have 100 properties. Now, some people don't understand that because it's a lot of people that's in the comments saying you need to take out loans, leverage other people's money, scale up faster, get a higher return on it. That's not, God told me not to do it that way. He told me to educate myself on why it makes sense to do it this way. I am not here for the short-term money. Some of these people, for example, keep saying stuff like, well, the return on investment, you'll get your money back in this many years. What do you mean? I already got my money back. I own the property. I own the asset. I own the asset. Once I build it and nobody got their name on it except for me, and the bank don't get no money from it, it's mine. It's my money. It's my asset. People don't understand that. You don't have to get a return on investment when you own the asset. The investment is paying for your lifestyle. I never, ever plan on selling it. So why would I need to get... Okay, so I'll give you another one. Somebody said, well, what if the housing market crash out? I don't have a mortgage. I don't care what it does, and I don't plan on ever selling it. I'm unaffected. I don't have a call on my loan from the bank that's trying to stay liquid because I own the property. I am the bank. I don't worry about that. Part of success is relieving yourself of stress. Now, I'm not saying that your way don't make sense. This way don't make sense for me. But my point is that owning a whole lot of them, if I own 100 of them, because I will get there and I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to tell you that right now. But let's say, for example, I own 100 of them, and then you adjust for inflation over a period of the next 10 to 15 years. And let's say, for example, you averaging somewhere between $25,000 to $3,000 per property, right? Then that means my income is what? $250,000 to $300,000 a month, because my goal is not only to be able to pass on the assets to get tax breaks, to continue to have the assets and invest, while at the same time being able to maintain the lifestyle that I have for the rest of my life. So what am I telling you? I'm telling you that I don't take what I make right now for granted. The reason why I aggressively invest right now is because I'm preparing myself for what could possibly happen in the future. No matter what happens, I'm always prepared for what happens in the future. You think I was waiting on corporate America to eventually lay me off? No, my goal was to leave on my own will. I wasn't waiting on anybody to lay me off. I was like, yo, I'm going to put myself in a position to where I'm going to walk away because I'm moving on to the next thing. And that's what I want y'all to have. I want you to have a mentality of what's your next play. I want you to ask yourself right now, if you watching this, I don't care where you are. I don't care if you're in a daycare. I don't care if you're a truck driver. Stop telling me about how much y'all make per year. Start telling me what you're investing in for your next play. I want to know what your next play is. Male, female. I want to know what your next play. What's your next play? What's your next play? Okay, you're making a bunch of money, but then what? How you gonna sustain it? What happens if you get laid off? What happens if interest rates go up? We having the wrong kind of conversations in the community. We not having a conversation about where to put the money so that you can prepare yourself for the next play. I'm about to go into this next segment about federal workers is at the food pantry line. I'm going to get into that on the next one. What's your next play? What's the next thing? If you a truck driver, you making $120,000 a year, I guarantee you within the next 10 years, even if you're still making $120,000 a year, you're not going to be able to retire. In the next 10 years, you're not going to be able to retire by making $120,000 a year, taxes, insurance, all of the stuff that you got to pay. But what if, because you may be able to make a decent amount of money for the rest of your life, but what if, because AI is moving quickly and I'm seeing a lot of trucks that's being automated. What if your industry is upended? What you gonna do? What you gonna do? Listen, I love the government that we have in place right now. Not the Democrats on the Congress side, but I love what Trump is doing. He's making the critical investments and forcing people that do business with the United States of America to create jobs that eventually our children is going to benefit off of. The investments that's coming today has nothing to do with us. It has everything to do with the generations that happen after us. It's your children and your children's children. So when they putting together these chip factories, when they putting together these other factories, when they putting together these industries, when they invest in an AI, your children is going to have to get the education to capitalize off of these jobs. But here's my question. Because all of this stuff is happening real fast. And cool, government doing great. We voted in the right people. Hopefully everything makes sense over the next 5 to 10 years. But why you depending on the fucking federal government, bro? I love what they doing. I don't want to depend on them. I'm not going to depend on the government to save me. I'm not going to depend on the government to save me. That means that I'm going to have a future forward mindset so that I can capitalize off of what I'm doing that's generating so much revenue right now. Everything got to go into investments. And then you play. I am aggressive. You don't believe me? I'm aggressive like a motherfucker. I got the one that I just done, one that I'm breaking ground on, 3 more in flight, and 2 more that I'm already doing the blueprints for. Bro, I just started building within the last 2 years. I'm already becoming an all cash, no banks, aggression. Where is he at, Rob? I get it, 1A. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to come for me because I'm not involved in the industry.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, Rob, what's going on? How you doing?
Good. Plow in the fields.
How's the blueprints for the 2 properties that we building next to each other going?
Well, I sent you one to review.
Oh.
Did you get a chance to look at it?
I'm gonna look at it today. I didn't know if you had.
Saturday or Sunday or I can't remember, but I know it was last week. So
Yeah, I'm gonna look at it today because I was kind of busy over the weekend, but I'm gonna look at it today. So the plan is to build them when we get the blueprints together. The plan is to build both of them at the same time.
Yeah, that's what you said you wanted to do.
Okay.
And I prefer to do that as long as you are good with that.
I'm cool with it. I sent you some money today too.
Yeah, I saw that. So there's a few things out there. I wasn't sure if that was for the.
No. So I sent you the one for Hilton. I sent you that one.
To me weeks ago.
Yeah, and then I sent you the one for this one is for Draper, the final for Draper.
Okay. Yeah, because I sent you the cost estimate. I just didn't go through it yet.
Yeah.
I was kind of waiting until you guys get the keys, but we're done over there.
Yeah, so we should be finishing up on the final inspection. Yeah.
Well, it just needs a deck belt. We're just kind of waiting on that. So, all right, cool. Thank you.
Well, we don't have to worry about timelines as much because we don't have to push no papers with the bank. So.
Right. No, that's nice. But yeah, take a look at Melrose because what I'm planning to do is use that same plan, come up with a little different elevation, and then just make a couple tweaks, to the front of the garage and maybe to the house and the porch and stuff. Just so they're different.
Yep.
Unless you want to build 2 identical houses, I mean you can.
No. We want them to have different character.
Okay. Well, I kind of thought we did after we talked, months ago, but okay. Well, just let me know what you think. I mean, I think it's a great house, to be honest with you.
Yep.
There's just got all the bells and whistles. Maybe, too many, but.
No, you know how we do it.
Yeah, well, this is going to be the best thing we've done together, so I think you guys are going to be real happy with it.
What do you estimate if you just had to shoot off the hip? What it's going to cost per house to build?
Well, doing 2 together is going to be beneficial.
Uh-huh.
But I think our costs have been running right around $200 a square foot.
Okay.
And so, but this one's going to have some nicer materials, a few more plumbing fixtures, larger square footage. So I'm going to guesstimate somewhere around $550.
$550 per?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, maybe 6 because you guys like the good stuff. And I'm good with it. I like the good stuff too. I just don't spend your money without being told to.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I mean, I was glad you guys came back and added stone on Draper.
Yeah, I wanted that from the beginning, but I guess I should have communicated that. So.
Well, I was trying to go in there and say, hey, look at the neighborhood,
Yep.
Save a few bucks here, a few bucks there, but at the end of the day, it needed something.
Yeah, I like it. Your character.
Appeal, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Because the way the floor plan was, I really couldn't do any windows on under that porch, and it needed some curb appeal, and that pulled it off. So.
Yep. When do we break ground on within the next week and a half, 2 weeks? We're supposed to be breaking ground on Hilton, right?
On Hilton. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everything is all set. What are we waiting on?
Pretty much taking the basement and waiting on Al.
Okay.
He's just, he just gets backed up. He's got guys he's been working with for 30 years. And, and I was like, look at, our money is as good as theirs. And when you make a commitment, you gotta commit to a schedule. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, but he's all over the place sometimes. But I've reached out to other excavators, and they're just too busy. They won't even give me estimates.
All right. Well, let's just keep Al in the loop. And the ones the other 2 that's side by side, we gonna make those 4 bedrooms. All 4 is gonna be at the top, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
3.5 bath because they put a bathroom in the basement.
Oh, okay.
And you'll see that when you go through the plans. I got a full basement, full bathroom down there, and I got a really decent sized mechanical storage room up front, and the whole bay back of the basement is all finished.
All right. Well, I mean, we already spending 350, 450 per anyway, so we might as well just spend 550 per. Why not?
Well, yeah, it's a bigger home, bigger lot, you know.
Yeah.
But that's entirely up to you.
Well, you know, I'm buying more property, so we might as well just continue to do what we've been doing.
That's fine. Yeah, I did reach out to a new plumber for Hilton, and I'm just in the process of sending that bid to you and to Rita right now. I just got the estimate from. I just been having a hard time with Russell. They're too busy, I think, and we just keep getting kicked to the bottom of the pile. So I want to work with somebody who's a little more professional.
All right, sounds good. Well, you know, I trust you. Do what you do.
Okay. All right, will do.
I got another because you know they only let me send a maximum per day, so I got another payment coming to you tomorrow.
Okay, I appreciate it. I really do. Thanks so much.
All right, my friend.
Yeah, I'm coming back in town this week to get Draper, I mean not Draper, but the Hilton in for foundation. So we're good to go end of this week, into next week.
All right, sounds good.
I'm getting that deck, getting the basement in.
Yep, I just got the email right now.
Okay, cool.
All right.
All right, I'll be in touch.
All right, my friend. So what I would like for y'all to do, oh shoot, hold on one second. What I would like for y'all to do is, first of all, plan for your future and don't be afraid to spend the money. We trick off money on all kind of nonsense, and you got to adjust for your circumstance and for your situation. We will sit here. One Q Development says, bro, I'm a builder. Your build cost is way too high. No, it's not. We want all of the, listen. We building on half-acre lots per property, and we get all of the good stuff, all of the granite, no carpet, wood floors, finished basements, full driveways, elevated pitches. We got a bunch of stuff that's coming. So we want to spend the money, and we going to make sure that any family that comes into our property never wants to leave. Any family that comes into our property will be there for the next 10 to 15 years. We don't waste time. And I know for a fact they're going to be there forever, because when you compare it to what you get outside of there, you're never going to be able to get the same cost for the money. We renting houses like drug dealers. We pitching a better product for a cheaper price, and you're going to be hooked for life. Better product for a cheaper price, and you're going to be hooked for life. And we don't care about spending the money because we trick it off on nothing. Y'all go and blow 50,000, 40,000, 10,000 at the strip club. You blow it on a trip. Y'all go and blow it on a car and give 17, 18, 19% interest sometimes in order to get a Hellcat to the bank, but you won't invest it in yourself. Plan for the future. Plan for the future. I don't cheap out on my stuff. I put the best quality. If I wouldn't live there myself, I wouldn't put it in there. But more importantly, trick off on your investments. We tricking on our investments. We not tricking on these hoes no more. We tricking on our investments. We not tricking on these hoes. And I'm not impressed by these people that say, oh man, this person make this amount of money. This person make this amount of money. I want to see what you spending in your assets. I don't care about what you say that they make. Show me your assets. Show me what you're working on in the future. We tricking on this, we tricking on that. No, let's make sure that we run up a bag and we can actually, y'all can't wait to give y'all money to Louis Vuitton and Hermes, and y'all want to hurry up and give it to Chrome Hearts, and you want to give it to your jeweler, but your kids ain't got no inheritance, and y'all be broke as fuck when y'all die. And then y'all girl be out here busting it down for a real one because she got to go and try to figure out how to make some money. I'm going to lead by example. All of these real estate gurus and all of these people, how many of them actually is spending their own money and building their own communities in the cities where they were born and raised? That's all I want to know. Everybody's selling a course. They gonna teach you and they ain't never actually did it themselves. See, I will be the crash dummy. I'll actually put my money up just to learn it so I can come back and give it to the bag chasers. Can't wait to stream with y'all on Wednesday. I don't want to hear from these niggas. I'm going to be the blueprint. Don't worry. I'm going to come through, kick down the door, and then I'm going to let my bag chasers come in after me, and we're going to tear down a bag. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. I like to see people, and then people be like, Anton, why you always showing the receipts? Why you always calling? Why you always showing what you're doing? Why you always showing your bank account? Why you always showing what your deposits are? Why you always showing what your expenses are? Because the people have to, regardless of whether you like it or not, and it makes you feel uncomfortable, the people got to see the truth. They got to see the difference between who real and who fake. They got to see the receipts. You may see me courtside, but I want you to also see the amount that I'm spending per property. The people got to know who real and who not. Anybody can get on the internet and say anything. We don't believe you. Anybody can get on the internet and say anything that they want. They can get their fake chains. They can do all of this talking, all of this pretending. Who gonna show you the receipts so that you know if they really about that life? Show your fruit, show your work, show your fruit. We don't want to see no more finance fucking cars. I don't care about your jewelry. I don't care about your trips that's Afterpay and clearing it up. I don't care about your fake Louis Vuitton and your Temu stuff. I want to see what's really happening. And let me tell you something else. It's easier to see whose stuff is real because you know who really got the money and you know who really spending it. Y'all getting all of this money in corporate and sponsorships, and all y'all got for it is a couple cars. You can't put no family in a house. I am affordable housing because I'm going to give you housing for you and all of your people, and I'm going to make it affordable for you. If you want, we ain't got to depend on the goddamn government, bro. All you need is some good people that get some money and they going to do the right thing with it. Anton, you spending too much. No, I'm not, because I want people to enjoy the property. I want them to have a nice thing and to say, I'm going to take care of this because I don't want to leave. I want them to be able to pay their rent and take vacations and be able to pay for their kids' tuition and not spend a whole lot of money to do it. And it ain't going to hurt me because I'm going to still be profitable, but I don't have to be that profitable. I can make sure that the people is good too. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just need good people to do the right thing. It don't have to all be profit. It could also be profit and community. It could be profit and. It's an and, not a but. You ain't got to gouge people. You ain't got to make sure that you get all of their dollars. Nah, listen. Just pay your stuff on time. Take care of the property. Let's build a good relationship and let's make sure that we good for the rest of our lives. And if you ever decide to leave, I want you to have a good experience. That's what we supposed to be doing to each other. It don't have to be so capitalistic to where it's unreal. We don't need fucking socialism. We just need people to do the right thing. Good character. You just need people to have good character. See, and this is when you get dangerous. This is when they start trying to take you out because they can't make no money off of you. The banks can't profit off of you. The people can't profit off of you. So then they start putting agents in place. Oh, no, he must have did this. No, nigga, I'm just real. That's just what it is. Best feeling of success says 26. Oh, yeah, I read that one. Shout out to you. Hey, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. We got a loose one, says Carrington Love Jr. What up, Carrington? I appreciate you. Sniper says they were hanging needles on trees like Christmas ornaments. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Mr. Lot, my dog says providing a safe space to be a crackhead is absurd. Raheem says, I'm from Philly. My grandma and family was super happy. It seems a lot of people are low-key conservative when it comes to cleaning up our community. Now we just got to vote that way. Solution Trucking Channel says, I'm a tanker truck driver currently in school for cybersecurity online. You can do both, big dog. Talk about them. That's my girl, Miss Sanchez. Did I come at the right time with no glasses? Yeah, you caught me at a good time. You caught me at a good time. Anthony Gordon says, I went this route, built my investment properties with cash. Now I get $5,000 monthly and I'm working on number 4. Run it up. Run it up. Shout out to you. Thank you for that 20 ball. Carrington Love Jr. says, as soon as I got the knowledge on real estate, I changed my entire path. All active income will be invested into development, build and sell. Eventually I'll build a 30 plus door buildings, cash flow, facts. Shout out to my girl, just a brown girl in America. Say, hey, Anton, I'm ready for that coaching call. Yep. In November. Mick the Most says, you need a chef because you cooking. I try, man. I try. I'm seeing a lot of liberals voting in NYC. NYC is dead. Sky Dweller TV says, how do you feel about building container homes? Don't know nothing about it. I've never built one. I could build one if you want me to. I'll build one. I don't know what the requirements are. I don't know what, where I would be able to do it in the cities. Maybe I'll buy a property in the city and then I'll build one and then I'll tell you what it's like. I could build one if you want to, and then I can give you my experiences. So Ray Sean, shout out to my dog Ray Sean. Ray, how did you do it as a social worker? Anton leads by example. Matthew 6:33. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these things will be added unto you, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Ray Sean, shout out to my dog. Shout out to my dog. Y'all don't know no social workers that got rich except for Ray Sean. You don't know none except for my people. Carrington Love Jr. says, my next play after real estate, my active income comes from freight, transport, and brokering. I'm going to leverage the equity to buy a cargo ship and ship cars internationally to Africa and Arab nations. Do your thing, big dog. Anthony Gordon says, $200 per square foot. I built mine for $105 per square foot. Quartz countertops, stainless steel appliances, luxury vinyl plank, and custom fireplaces. But I'm in Texas and it cost me $240K to build. I'll tell you another reason why my costs are a lot more, Anthony Gordon. And that's cool. I think that's dope. I'll tell you another reason why my costs are so much more is because I pay my contractors and I pay my people a lot more money too. I spend a lot of money because the people in my community are the ones that are the contractors that are at these properties. So I could save money, but I don't negotiate on prices. And so when they tell me a price, if it makes sense for them and it makes sense for me, then I just pay the price. So I spend a lot more money on my contractors, and they all are American workers. And I only work with people that hire American workers and people that are in my community that live and work and play in these same places. So a lot of times it costs me a lot more money, and I don't mind paying the money because, I want to spend it with my people. But that's dope. That's dope. 105 square foot. Carrington Love Jr. And I do all of the amenities. Carrington says, I just want the girls to know there is a difference between the truck driver and the owner operator who owns a fleet. $500,000 versus $120,000 per year is the difference. That's all. Julian Harvey in the building says, I was just listening to you on that call and I got super motivated. I will get my first piece of property soon. Yeah. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. That's why I love this show. It's nothing but game. Yeah. All right. All right, y'all. Let's continue on with the show. I got to get my dog Quentin Tarantino. Says, I just finished my master's in finance in December, but thinking about getting a master's in applied computing to stay competitive. Do you think it's worth it? Depends on how much it's costing. It could be competitive if you actually can leverage it. I'll be interviewing like a king tomorrow. Run it up. Run it up. All right, y'all. We got to continue on with the show. So, I think we here. I feel bad, honest to God. I do. I feel bad. I genuinely feel bad for people. Let's just play the video.
In Southeast D.C., this food bank line just for federal workers.
You have to have your government ID.
Stretches around the block. Many furloughed federal employees like Anthony S5.E218 now waiting hours for help.
I have children to feed, I have a family to take care of, I have a mortgage to pay, so it's a lot of uncertainty.
The Bipartisan Policy Center reports 1.4 million civilian federal employees like S5.E218 did not get paid today.
I never thought that I would be in this predicament where I'm in need of assistance.
Under a 2019 law, federal workers will be reimbursed at the end of the government shutdown. But that help could still be a long way away, with Congress not in session.
How does it make you feel that members of Congress are still getting a paycheck right now?
You know, if we're not getting paid, I honestly feel that their checks should be withheld as well.
And as food banks face an influx of federal workers,
it's scary.
The clock is ticking for millions more.
With the shutdown, I believe that we'll get double the amount, maybe even triple the amount that we see now.
Federal funding for food programs like SNAP and WIC in danger of running dry by the end of the month.
To last all the way for the next month, even to cover December, it won't.
I went out and I could release the footage because I release the footage sometimes. I know people be feeling some type of way when I post footage of me giving away money and stuff. I went out this past week and I gave out a bunch of money. And so I've been a lot more intentional about trying to find the right people to give it to. I actually went and paid for groceries instead of just giving people $100 a piece. I went and paid for groceries for certain people unexpectedly. And I will tell you that I actually upped the amount last week because I had a really great month the month before. And so I upped the amount because I tithe to the streets. And so I upped the amount that I gave to the people. And I will tell you that people are struggling. And I said that it was going to be a difference between the haves and the have-nots. That the whole race war thing, it's just, that's all a ploy. That was a play to get y'all distracted from the fact that you should have been focusing more on the class war than you were on a race war. I gave cash too. I mean, you know, you just try to find and you look for the right people to give it to. But the fact of the matter is, I've been telling y'all for a long time that this is a class war. It is not a race war. It's been a class war for forever. And I don't know how you guys did not see the play. They've been playing y'all for a long time. And so now they've tied you to the federal government, and you have to beg for it while they still get their paychecks. It's the most disrespectful thing ever. The most disrespectful thing that you can do, because until you actually get the federal government open, you got to shut the fuck up. These Democrats that's going on MSNBC and they going on these campaigns to try to help the people to understand why they're shutting the federal government down and all of this stuff. They got to shut the fuck up unless they get their job. We don't want to hear nothing from y'all until y'all get the government open. Trump over there tapping into his friends so he can get the military paid. I heard it was a $130 million infusion from a billionaire to contribute because they actually want to make sure that our military members are still getting paid. Congress, now keep in mind, of course, Trump don't need the money, but before we ever shut down the federal government, Trump never took a dollar from he never took a salary. Here's my thing. How can you justify getting paid and your people don't even get paid? I don't think that there's ever been a day in my entire life where I have not paid my people before I paid myself. There is nobody that ever could say that they worked for me, that they ever went short on a paycheck, or that I did not pay them before I paid myself. How are they still getting paychecks if the entire world is shut down and they don't even want to fund. Bro, the military should get their paychecks before they do. The military should get their paychecks before Congress. You can't listen. When people are hungry, they can't hear you. When people are hungry, they can't hear you because their stomach is growling.
We will be starving.
Our NBC affiliate in Kansas City breaks down what that assistance looks like for the 41 million Americans who rely on the program.
I'm Megan Abundance grocery shopping in South Kansas City. This cart full of staples, some fresh produce, fresh fruit, some meat, and bread represents what the average person on SNAP benefits or food stamps can afford for an entire week. The national average benefit for a breakdown per person per week is about $46 to $74. That's what we've spent here, $48.68 for this cart full of groceries.
How you doing, ma'am? You can choose one item.
With no end to the shutdown in sight, many now preparing for what could be a long road ahead.
What can I do about it? But just keep
Look at the
pushing
line.
forward.
Look at the line.
As they say,
Look at
push
the
until
line.
something happens.
Look at the line. Look at the line, y'all. Do you see how long that line is? Oh, Jesus Christ. Lord bless him. Bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him, God. If I had all of the money in the world, I would take care of them all. I ain't even gonna cap. If I had all of the money in the world, or if I, and you know my heart, Lord, you know my heart, I would actually make sure that every last one of these people was taken care of and fed until they get themselves together, until they can get back on their feet, because this is bad, bro. It honestly is. This is bad. This is bad. And every way that you can think about it, that line is crazy. That line is crazy. And people can't hear your message when they're hungry. I think it's a lot of people that's going to switch over to being conservative. I think it's a lot of people that's going to wind up switching over into being conservative. They sick of it. They sick of it, bro. They just truly sick of what they seeing right now that's happening in the government.
Happens.
The food bank that we went to today had over 200 people show up, all of them federal workers or government contractors. And the organizers who we spoke to said they're prepared to hold these types of weekly donation events as long as the government shutdown continues.
Tonight, impacts of the government shutdown intensifying, with key benefits on the brink of running out for millions more Americans.
We expect to see a huge influx in people utilizing the pantry.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture says SNAP food assistance will stop starting November 1st for about 42 million people. That same day, open enrollment begins for the Affordable Care Act, and premiums are expected to reach record highs. Michaela Butler, a nurse, says she's concerned for her patients.
We're going to see a lot more people opting out of healthcare that they need and ending up in pretty bad situations.
Nearly 4 million people are projected to drop their coverage next year if lawmakers allow the ACA subsidies that help lower those premiums to expire.
AI Screen Genius says, I wouldn't it be pointless. You don't mean all of the money, you mean infinite money, because if they don't do anything more than ask instead of work, they're your pets literally. Well, listen, here's the thing. The goal isn't to be anybody's father or to tether them to me. The goal is to bridge them until they actually get themselves together. So it's not for people to be dependent on you forever. It's to allow for them to be able to carry themselves until they can do better.
A sticking point for Democrats this shutdown.
But we need to assure Americans do not have their inflation, do not see their insurance premiums double overnight. And that's what's going to happen unless Republicans work with us to stop that.
Both sides blaming each other.
I would urge moderate
Democratic senators to come across the aisle. We're starting to eat into muscle here.
Today's staffing shortage is triggering a brief ground stop at LAX and delays at Newark Airport. According to the FAA, the Transportation Secretary says roughly half of delays could be related to the shutdown.
This is exhausting.
The president of the Air Traffic Controllers Union issuing a warning about those workers, already understaffed and set to miss their first full paycheck Tuesday.
Every day that this shutdown continues, this system will be less safe because they're completely distracted from their duties and responsibilities of keeping the American flying public safe.
And it doesn't look like the shutdown will end this week. House Democrats will come back to D.C., but House Speaker Mike Johnson hasn't called back Republicans. And the Senate will be here, but so far their votes to reopen the government have all failed.
Let me tell you what else is going to happen. What people are starting to realize, and this is an unintentional, unintended consequence from this shutdown, is that women, I believe, are starting to realize that they need men more than they ever have. Women that are feeling it, they starting to be like, you know what? I wasn't really as strong and as modern as I want to. And it's also showing you that people need to stop tethering themselves to the federal government. Bro, you telling me 42 million people are receiving some form of social services? So the government is y'all daddy. The government is y'all daddy. Most of us wouldn't survive natural selection. Most of us would not survive natural selection. We would just fail and perish and fail to exist. Natural selection, if we was just in hunter-gatherer and we wasn't taken from other people to make sure that everybody else is taken care of, most of these people will fall off the face of the map, and that would be the end of it. Women will become more dependent on they men, and you would actually see the weak men fall off. You would see the weak men fall off, and then you would see who was who. You would start to see who was who. All of this, I am woman, hear me roar, all of this diversity, equity, inclusion, all of that would be out the window. All of that would be out of the window. Seriously, it would be out the window. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Pray for your neighbors, man. Pray for your neighbors. All right? This is a good show. I'm enjoying myself today. Let me give myself a round of applause. Said, Anton, don't celebrate yourself. I said, says who? Tanea says, good morning, AD Mondays. I'm busy with 2 classes for a bachelor's degree in Christian counseling and online fitness clients in between, but I still got to stop in and show you love. Coaching calls soon. Jesus Christ is King. Absolutely, love. 100%. I actually move at the end of this week. That should be fun. I'm going to document it. Marion B says, bro, I had a debate with one of the Israelites. They have a victim mindset talking about black folks is suppressed. I went off. Anthony Gordon, what up though? Says people have to plan better. 2 checks should not have you in this bad of shape. Got to prepare for what if all costs. People are spending it and they spending it before they get it. Check your IG, same name, all details on there. Mr. St. James, all right, bet. I got you. Makari, shout out to Makari Maka. What up, though? I see you. What is that? Japan, Japanese, Chinese? I was a government worker early 2025, but I took the Elon Musk fork in the road and moved from the DMV to Huntsville, Alabama. Anyone dependent on the government should look at this as the beginning and not the end. Pivot and do not become a victim twice. Talk about it. And thank you for the 100 ball. And let me tell you something else. You would only have to teach me once. Ain't no way in hell you would catch me caught. Get me again. You would only have to tell me once. I only got to go through it once for me to learn my lesson. Ain't no way in the world, Makari. Ain't no way in the world the government would be my daddy after this. I would be so hustle culture, focus, all of that. But such is life. Such is life. All right, y'all. Let's spin the block for a second and let's head over to Denver. Denver. All right. Now, why are we going over to Denver? Because Denver don't get a whole lot of love. We haven't really done a lot of live streams on Denver because we've had bigger problems in Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, Houston. They got serial killers on the loose in Houston. Somebody got found hanging, all of that stuff, right? Hanging and burning at the same time. And they died. But Denver got a budget crisis just like everybody else. And so when I was telling y'all over the weekend about certain cities that was poised to thrive after this whole change in leadership, such as Detroit and possibly places like Memphis, Denver is like a mini Chicago / LA because they have a budget crisis also. And remember when they told y'all that the weed sales was going to plug holes in a Denver city budget and that they was going to start thriving? Yeah, that didn't work out quite much.
Skipping out on millions of dollars in rent to the city of Denver. The CBS Colorado exclusive is just the latest hit in Denver's depressing budget shortfall.
Tonight, Near investigator Brian Moss is learning the company that's leasing a building owned by the city has stopped paying rent, costing the city about $2 million in revenue. Brian found Denver City Council members had no idea about this loss of revenue until they heard from him.
The Denver Post building at Colfax and Broadway was built nearly 20 years ago. Then last year, the city of Denver bought the 303,000 square foot building for almost $89 million, saying it would be needed for courtrooms in the future. Denver City Council
got to get the government out of being in business like they're a real estate developer, because first of all, I don't know who pitching these deals to these cities, but it's so stupid because they don't know what they're doing. Cities be buying up real estate and stuff like that instead of working with developers and other companies to then get in business with the city itself. What they decide they want to do is that they want to be a landlord. And so they spend $90 million buying a building, which they already in debt. Now, remember, all of these cities got a credit rating. So the cities that are ran by these liberals are basically going into debt and they can't pay for their stuff. And so they out here acting like a landlord and as an investor, and really all they doing is putting themselves even further in debt. So then they come back to you guys and they say, well, listen, guys, our budget is messed up. Because if you're a business owner, let's say me as a person that is doing side quests as a developer, right? Let's say me, I'm doing side quests as a developer, and I decide that I want to over leverage myself, borrow some money, and then I want to go and make some investments that don't pay off. And so I go and I build this property, and then I got some money that I'm owed to the mortgage company as well as investors or whatever, and the hard money loans. And I say, okay, well, I couldn't get the property sold, so I'm gonna lease it out. And then I'm going to lease it out at too much money that somebody can't afford. And then what happens after that is because they can't afford it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the taxpayers and I'm going to ask them for some more money in the form of higher taxes, in the form of higher property taxes, in the form of a bag tax, similar to what's happening in Chicago. That's basically what's happening in Chicago. They're saying, oh man, we got pension obligations, we got police departments, we got debt that we got to pay for. The interest on the debt is higher, so we paying more. So what we going to do is we going to go to the well. We going to go to more rich people. They need to pay their fair share. Not that you need to manage your budget more effectively. Not that you need to become a better partner with the business community. Not that you need to create an environment that has more jobs so that it creates more income and you pay more taxes through your property taxes and then money that's being spent and circulated throughout the economy. Not none of that. We just need to have rich people pay their fair share, which then trickles down into poor people paying more, or not even poor, the middle class paying more, so that the rich people get up out of there and they're not going to pay it. And so what you see is these cities deciding that they want to become landlords, and it's going to cost taxpayers. And Denver is already millions in a budget deficit. Let me see something. I'll pull it up specifically right now. Denver budget. What was Denver's budget deficit? Yep. Because it's not as big of a city as Chicago, but definitely still in the budget deficit. Denver is currently addressing a projected $200 million budget deficit for 2026 by implementing measures. Now, again, I want to make sure that y'all understand what's happening. By implementing measures such as layoffs, furloughs, budget cuts. The shortfall is attributed to factors including increased city employee costs, stagnant sales tax revenue, and when these cities project budget deficits, remember when Chicago was projecting 1.15 billion and then somehow it ballooned up to 1.5 billion, is because they're literally undercutting the amount that they're going to, or they're overstating the amount that they're going to take in taxes with sales tax and revenue and all of this stuff. So they usually revise upwards, right? Significant spending on migrant and homeless services. Denver has spent an estimated $356 million on its migrant response, according to the Common Sense Institute. This figure is a broad estimate, which means that it's probably lower than what they really spent, encompassing costs from city, school, and healthcare systems for services like shelter, food, and emergency medical care. This is crazy, bro. But let's get back to Denver and see what they got going on.
Council members were skeptical.
A couple of gaping holes in the proposal have me wondering who is meant to benefit from this project.
Can you explain how this makes sense for us to do
Shout out to
this
LC,
now?
says, AD, I'm in Detroit airports. This is nice. We got one of the nicer airports in the United States of America.
When agencies are being asked to cut their budgets by 10 to 15%, I don't understand that.
But the city's director of real estate said the city would make nearly $8 million in rent every year from tenants in the building, offsetting the city's financing of the property.
Just a reminder, this is going to be general fund neutral, and the revenue coming in from the Denver Post through 2029. So that is what makes this a neutral situation through 2029.
And now, a bad outcome for the city. The master leaseholder for the building, the Denver Post Media Network, was paying the city $650,000 each month in rent. We've learned they stopped paying rent in August, and now with late fees, they're behind by about $2 million.
It is a large amount of income to the
And guess who's going to eat that? You. You're going to be the one to eat that cost. You're going to be the one to eat the cost.
city, and if we cannot recover that,
You're going to
we
eat
will
the
have to
cake,
turn around
anime.
and find more budget cuts.
Sarah Parody was one of four.
Hold on, let me play you what she said again.
And now with late fees, they're behind by about $2 million.
It is a large amount of income to the city, and if we cannot recover that, we will have to turn around and find more budget cuts.
Sarah Parody was one of four Denver council members who voted against buying the building. And now she says the city should have done more due diligence on the building's leaseholder. She says she had no idea of the massive loss of rent income until she heard from us.
If you're asking if you think that city council should be aware if an income stream of $700,000 a month stops coming in during a time of budget crisis when we just laid off about $10 million worth of employees, the answer is yes, I absolutely.
So remember this, y'all. These are not business people. They don't have safeguards in place to better help you to understand if the money is coming in and if the money is not coming in. And so imagine being so bloated as a government and having no oversight where you don't even know that $650,000 a month is missing in rent payments. Oh, of all of the tenants that I know if people be behind for a day for $2,300, I know all of that. Anton, you make the, yeah, I know, but I feel you. And they know that I know. And so they reach out to me ahead of time. Hey, listen, the first falls on a weekend. And so I'm, give me if it's okay. Oh, don't worry about it. But I know it. I know it. I may not bother you. I may not call you. And I expect for you to be an adult about the situation. But don't think that I'm not noticing. I pay big attention. I don't care if it's $600. I don't care if it's $60. I know it. I notice it. You notice it when somebody owe you money, don't y'all? All of y'all, if somebody owe y'all some money, if you lend them out, but then you see them out there on Instagram and shopping with the big bags, hey, we out here getting it. You see them get a new car, but they still owe you $500. Hey, so I see you when shopping. How's that working out for you? Hey, listen, and then you got to make it awkward, right? Now it's going to be awkward like you the one that borrowed the money. Hey, listen, did you ever plan on hit me off? Because, listen, they know that they loaned you loaned them some money. Now they got to make it awkward. Hey, listen, what we doing? Now I got to sit here and come to you like I'm desperate, and I'm not desperate, but I want my money. I got to come to you and ask you like you don't know that you owe me some money. Now imagine being so wasteful as a city, because if they're not able to find the $650,000 in rent, if they didn't even notice it, if it didn't make a big deal and it didn't set off any alarms, and the only reason that they knew it is because the news let them know, imagine how many small holes all of these government agencies or these local governments have. Imagine all of these government bro. I'm telling you, I would dare to bet that most major cities in the United States of America, not the small ones, but the major ones, lose millions in leakage every single year, and they don't even know it. They don't even know it. They get overcharged by contractors because they know it's a city. All of that. I'm telling you, bro.
I think I should get that information from internal, not from a reporter on the outside.
We obtained this notice under the Colorado Open Records Act from the city to the Denver Post Media Network, saying the leaseholder was in default starting in August, and they've not made any payments since. With the city estimating a $200 million budget shortfall next year, this is an unexpected and significant hit for the city.
Before you told me about it, I wasn't aware that the lease payments weren't being paid.
City Council member Kevin Flynn voted for the purchase.
It looked like a very good deal, as long as the payments are being made.
He too says he wishes the Johnston administration had told City Council that rent payments had stopped.
I have to say, I wish I had known by now.
So why did the Denver Post parent company stop paying rent? Their attorneys did not respond to emails from CBS. I'm Brian Moss, covering Colorado First.
The mayor's office has declined to comment, and the city finance department says it won't talk as this situation is now in the hands of lawyers.
Brian Moss was also the first to report Denver's $200 million budget shortfall next year, and Brian has been following all of this fallout closely for you, including laying off 169 employees. Just this month, Brian told us how those layoffs are making it harder for residents to dispute parking tickets. Now the mayor said that he is bringing those jobs back after reworking the budget. The mayor also says he is
reworking the budget. Wait, what does that mean? What does that mean? I'm bringing all of those people back after reworking the budget. Did y'all find some additional monies that we wasn't aware of? Man, listen, bro. If I ever run for office, it's going to be some slow singing and flower bringing up in that joint. First thing I'm doing is I'm auditing. Second thing I'm doing is I'm getting rid of any fraud, waste, and abuse. Third thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start consolidating. I ain't say I was going to do no layoffs. Is I'm going to start consolidating departments because I'm pretty sure that we got some synergies. And I'm going to run it like a business. And we're going to start paring the government down so that it plays less of a role into people's lives, and then have people spending less money so that they can do more things and it brings more revenue to the city itself. These people is finessing, bro. They finessing so hard.
More offices, including the clerk and recorder, auditor, excise and licensing, and immigrant legal services.
Denver, I'm on your ass, Denver. I'm on your ass, Denver. I'm on it. I'm on it. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Mike Johnston, I'm paying attention to what's going on over there, Mike Johnston. Shout out to my dog Clay Display says, hi Anton, as a bag chaser, will we have access to your architect for your future development projects? What do you mean access? What kind of access? Access to my architect for our future development projects. Oh my God. That's a really good question. On a case-by-case basis, because I gotta make sure that the people that work with my people don't ruin my reputation, because I got a really good reputation. And because the builder industry is just like any other industry, and you can get a reputation, negative or positive, and they gossip also. So for example, some of the same and the similar contractors work with big home builders. They work with smaller individual, all of that stuff. And so what'll happen a lot of times is if you're the type of builder that like to shun them, or you beat them up on prices after the fact, or they got to put a lien on a property or some other dumb stuff, then you basically get a negative reputation in the industry and nobody wants to work with you in the future projects. And so I built a phenomenal, stellar reputation. And so I don't want to mess that up. So that would have to be on a case-by-case basis. Y'all said, is my mic? No, you just might have to leave and come back in if you're having problems, because that's not on my side. That's on YouTube's side. My side is straight. My side is straight. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Everybody not experiencing the issue either. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I want to go into layoffs before I get into streaming services and price increases. I want to get into layoffs. So make sure I hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
Right now, Target is preparing to cut 1,800 corporate jobs. That's about 8% of its corporate workforce. The Minneapolis-based retailer says it's laying off 1,000 of those employees and then just getting rid of 800 open positions. Our Joe McCoy is live in Minneapolis tonight with more on the ripple effect that this really will have in the downtown area. Joe.
Well, Jennifer, this evening I spoke with the CEO of the Minneapolis Downtown Council, and he tells me that this is tough news for the city that is greatly impacted by Target's presence. Target's main headquarters
I didn't even realize that Target's headquarters was in Minneapolis.
In downtown Minneapolis will soon have more empty desks as the Minnesota-based retailer announced it's eliminating 1,800 corporate positions.
It's tough news for the city, and it's really tough news for the families and the people affected by the news.
Adam Dunick, CEO of the Minneapolis Downtown Council, says this is a gut punch to downtown.
This is a major Target town. I tell people that all the time. Target has a huge impact here, from the employees it employs to the other businesses that do business with Target around.
This summer, Target announced current COO Michael Fidelke will take over as CEO in February.
So it is a time of transition.
U of M Carlson School of Management professor Paul Valor feels this move was made now in part to show investors Target is serious about bringing expenses down.
What did I say that a company's largest obligation is to who? Their shareholders. They only care about investors and shareholders when it comes to the numbers, so people could say and do what they want to do. The people, the workers, the employees. Let me tell you something, because I know that it was a big deal about Target boycotts and all of this other stuff. The people are the ones that's going to suffer. They're still going to hit their targets. It's still going to be the CEOs and stuff that make money. And then the shareholders are going to demand that they make some adjustments. so that they can bring back shareholder value and inflate the cost of the stock or the price of the stock. And so y'all think that it's somebody else that's going to suffer. It's not. It's not. You know what they're going to do? They speed up innovation. And speeding up innovation, hey, listen, we're going to get rid of the 800 open positions that we got in corporate. We also going to lay off another 1,000 people. And then we're going to have cross-platform functionality. We're going to have synergy. We're going to put more work on you. And we know that you need it. And so in order for you to be able to survive, you're going to have to do the work because you feel like it ain't no jobs out here. And we're going to include AI to make things easier for us.
As the company faces 11 consecutive quarters of flat or declining sales.
I expect, for example, that there'll be an increase, a bump in the price of Target stock tomorrow morning.
Target says 1,000 employees will be laid off and 800 open positions will be eliminated, about 8% of the global headquarter team. In an email to employees, Fidelke said, quote, "The truth is the complexity we've created over time has been holding us back. Too many layers and overlapping work have slowed decisions, making it harder to bring ideas to life." For the Minnesota-based employees who are losing their job, Valor says they should have an easier time finding a new job because the Twin Cities is a headquarters economy.
So the good news is that there's a really strong market for this kind of talent, administrative talent in the middle market areas for it within the Twin Cities.
The employees impacted will continue receiving pay and benefits until January 3rd. Workers, however, won't know until this upcoming Tuesday if they are being laid off. And Target is asking all U.S. headquarter employees to work from home next week.
Yep, you know what that means. Phone calls. That's what it means. Hey, listen, all U.S. employee headquarters employees, y'all work from home next week. Then they're going to fire y'all on a Zoom call like they did on the movie Up in the Air. Hey, U.S. employees, headquartered, make sure everybody work from home next week and then come on in the week after. And then if you still see yourself coming in, then you still have a job. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and let you go. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and let you go. That is basically what they are telling you, that you will be let go, possibly. And if I was a Target employee, I would be trembling in my boots. I would be trembling in my boots. Oh, man, babe. Man, what's going on? Where's the governor that said that he was going to help us and he was going to transition? That we had one of the most robust economies this way, this going out this way. Additionally, automakers are adjusting.
Hard to parse because you're seeing GM and Ford have these, strong earnings reports, huge moves in the stock. President Trump is taking victory laps over this on Truth Social, and yet this morning our colleague David Welch in Detroit had the scoop that GM.
So basically what this is speaking on is the fact that companies are right-sizing, and Ford, for example, during their latest quarterly call, and we're going to go over this on Stock Club, actually beat, and they are more profitable than they expected or than analysts expected.
Is laying off hundreds of workers. So you have this situation where, as you say, the amount of sales these companies are pulling off with full-size SUVs, the Ford Expeditions, the Chevy Tahoes, those sorts of vehicles are really hot. And in some cases, as good as these companies have seen in something on the order of 2 decades. And yet, also with that, real cost issues in terms of tariffs, I think maybe not the worst case scenario that they were concerned about months ago, but absolutely those were still headwinds. I think there is a concerted effort on the part of these two companies, however, to sort of really thank Trump for these sort of incremental bits of relief that he's taken off from of the measures that were put in place earlier this year.
Is that part of it done? Is that part of the story over, or are they?
If you guys can, And I know that some people don't feel like they're able to.
Still working
But
to
if
kind
you
of
guys
continue.
can, try to prevent yourself from buying. And I'm saying this to you guys because I know that we are small in the scheme of things, right? As far as how many people actually are buying and financing and purchasing new cars. Y'all need to prepare yourself. And when I say prepare yourself, I move with an abundance mindset. I'm not saying prepare yourself to try to hunker down. No, you need to put yourself in a position where you don't have to spend a lot of money on car notes so you can spend more money investing in yourself. We're going to have a major buying opportunity, in my opinion. And I'm going to go over this on Stock Club. We got a major opportunity that's going to be a buy opportunity soon. And if you're not liquid, if all of your money is tied up in a crap that you can't actually justify, then you're not going to be able to benefit off of it.
To whittle away at some of the costs imposed by the president's policies.
I think it's still very much a live issue, and interestingly, some of the attempts to sort of curry favor with the White House seems to be around actually sort of applauding his move to put new tariffs in place on medium and heavy trucks. And the reason that they are appreciating that is because their rival, Stellantis, makes big Ram pickups down in Mexico. So it's a case of actually two players in Detroit kind of ganging up on the third and sort of praising Trump. And I think that was one of the interesting storylines out of last night's earnings, that Ford sees sort of some incremental opportunity to take advantage of the fact that one of their big competitors now faces much more of a tariff bill on those larger pickups that are made down in Mexico.
Craig, reading between the lines from the GM release and then the Ford results, it feels like these companies are stepping back on the margin from EVs.
Congratulations, Monique, for paying off your car last month. Congratulations. That's dope. I love it. Don't get another car note for a while.
Investments, and that seems to be one of the things that the street is applauding here. How do you read it?
I like that.
I think it's a little different across these two companies, where you have GM is much further along, I would say, in standing up battery capacity, standing up EV capacity as well. So they, I would say, on the other hand, have
PJ. I'm gonna talk about it on November 1st.
Kind of on one hand, have more EV potential and more battery potential to work with, and haven't quite sort of cut to the bone in terms of what they have to offer. And yet I would say it's also been the case that it's fair to look at sort of what they've managed in terms of how many EVs they're selling, and fair to say that it's been a real disappointment. We've not seen the ramp up in demand that was hoped for, even in the times when we were able to take advantage of $7,500 federal tax credits. As we know, that those days are now gone, and so you're seeing GM cut back. I think Ford's cutting back sort of predated some of these policy changes, and it's more to do with the fact that they've just been losing so much money on that side of the business, and have a little bit less to work with in terms of progress in scaling up the business and bringing down costs.
I think that there are the difference between the haves and the have-nots are going to be stark. I think that so many different industries are going to be upended when it comes to the amount of people that actually are qualified for the jobs that we want. I honestly see a lot of women deciding that they just want to be stay-at-home mothers, or they want to just be stay-at-home wives or girlfriends or whatever it is that you want to do. I think that there's going to be a massive adjustment in the marketplace. I think that you're going to have to get educated in the industries that are going somewhere. I also think that the cost of doing business, the wages, are going to go down, or they're going to stay stagnant, because there's so many different people in the marketplace. And if you have a good job, I think you need to hold on. If you got a good job, hold on to it. If you get a really nice and decent salary, and you work for an industry that is really stable, but then you have another opportunity to come up, be very careful of leaving the job that you have and the stability that you have right now, because right now it just ain't kicking it like that. It ain't slapping like that. Let me spin the block really quickly. I want to pivot over to this real quick. I know that HBO Max is raising prices, and then there's more to come in the streaming wars. Warner Brothers actually put themselves up for sale.
It was the smash hit of the summer. Netflix's new crown jewel, K-pop Demon Hunters. Now the streaming giant's
K-pop
most
Demon
popular
Hunters?
movie ever. After a real-life theater release, Netflix inking a huge toy deal with Hasbro and Mattel. Netflix turning its views into big-time revenue too. The company announcing it made a record amount on ad sales. Some of those ads could soon get an AI twist, with Netflix saying it will test new ad formats by the end of the year. It reinforces Netflix's.
Have y'all seen some of these ads lately? And you can tell that it's AI. People are using AI horribly. And I'm seeing people running ads for AI or AI style ads. The audio sound weird. And it's like, y'all gotta not be so quick to try to push that. The audio sound weird. The video look weird. Prompt engineers, I don't know who green lighted some of the stuff that y'all looking out, but some of these ads are horrible, bro. They're absolutely horrible. And I see them on every platform. I see them on TikTok. I see them on here. I see them on a lot of these platforms. These ads are trash. These AI ads are absolute trash, bro.
Pole position among a dizzying array of streaming competitors, all vying for your attention and money. At HBO Max, customers will now pay another $1 or $2 per month, the company's third price hike in 3 years.
I know, $2, right? Doesn't sound that bad. Wrong. This is terrible.
Experts say get used to it.
We've seen Disney Plus raise prices, Hulu raise prices, Peacock did so, Netflix did at the beginning of this year. It's more important for them to make money than to attract subscribers.
Streamers are betting on must-see content.
Here you go, big dog.
As Prime Video and Peacock, owned by parent company NBC Universal, lean on new deals with the NBA, and Disney Plus gears up for the December release of the much-awaited Taylor Swift tour documentary.
Right now, let me tell you what's happening within the streaming industry. A lot of these streaming companies like HBO is raising prices. I love Netflix. I've always been a fan of Netflix from an investor's perspective because they give crazy value back to the shareholders. And one of the reasons that I like Netflix is because they understand the industry and they understand the market, right? So I'll give you an example. One of the biggest metrics, and I'm not going to deep dive into it. Don't worry about it, bag chasers. We're going to talk about it on Wednesday or Thursday. One of the biggest metrics to measure if a company is doing well is, can they do two things? One, capitalize off of the base that they already have. So increase revenue. One of the ways that Netflix increased revenue was to run ads. And so they generated a lot more revenue in that. And then two, do they continue to grow their subscriber base? So, for example, one of the biggest things that prop up a stock is if your subscriber base is growing, or your growth or your numbers or your ability to penetrate into new markets. Netflix has had a chokehold on the market since the beginning of time. So when you see HBO Max, Peacock, all of these other streaming services, Disney Plus, trying to keep up and compete, the only reason that Apple TV and Amazon Prime or Plus is still winning or is still running it up is because they subsidize by other parts of the companies. And so they're okay with losing money or becoming a loss leader so that they can then, get you to get more movies or get you to be subscribed or all of this stuff. The play is long term. But when it comes to the individual platforms, I think that Netflix is head and shoulders above all of these other platforms.
It comes after one research firm estimated Disney Plus and Hulu cancellation rates doubled after Jimmy Kimmel's show was briefly paused. The latest trend, bundles, with Disney Plus, Hulu, and HBO Max offering a bundle beginning at $19.99. And now Apple TV and Peacock joining forces on a package starting at $14.99. Adding another layer of confusion, consolidation in the media industry, with Warner Brothers Discovery putting out a for sale sign, meaning HBO and Batman could be looking for new streaming homes.
And so they saying that several different platforms, sometimes some of them are saying Netflix, others are saying, what was the other platform? Oh, Comcast. Comcast is also supposedly in the bid to try to buy Warner Brothers assets because Warner Brothers listed itself for sale.
Soon.
So apart from these bundle offerings, are there services trying to kind of hook you in and then crank up the price?
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. I mean, live events, I think, are one big example of that. All of these big sports events. I mean, don't forget Netflix is going to have a football game again this Christmas. But there are all these offers that credit cards and also stores are offering. For example, if you have a subscription to Walmart Plus, you also get a Paramount Plus or a Peacock Premium subscription. And again, there are also these interesting partnerships that they're trying to use.
Cable was the best back in the day. I disagree. Cable was trash and it was overpriced.
Spotify and Netflix announcing a partnership where more video podcasts will be coming to the Netflix platform. So you can listen on your way into work, but then when you go back home on your couch, you can watch that in a video format. So again, these are ways that they're trying to incentivize you to pay for what's going to be a higher cost for these streams.
So what I think is that these companies are going to start to consolidate because you got too many different streaming platforms asking you for money. Especially considering that it seems like the industry is starting to contract. I think that you're going to experience a selling off of assets from different companies that can't compete and stand on their own. Warner Brothers is probably just the first one to fall, but you're going to start seeing it because people are starting to get what? Streaming fatigue, streaming price fatigue. And all they did was replace it when you thought that you was getting something cheaper and at a better price. All they did was replace cable with a bunch of streaming services. So now you got to have Apple TV, Netflix, Amazon Prime, Peacock, BT Plus, ABCDEFG, whatever it is, Warner Brothers, all of these different platforms. And so what I think is going to happen is that certain content libraries are going to start getting swallowed up because that is where the play is going to be. So many streaming platforms, bro. Honestly, it's really too many streaming platforms.
Joining us now for more, Peter Supino. He is senior media analyst at Wolf Research. Peter, you just heard that conversation. Let's kind of follow up from the stock side. Who do you think ultimately ends up with Warner Brothers Discovery, if anybody, and does it ultimately end up being broken up?
Well, in our opinion, it's up to Netflix. Netflix has the most powerful currency in the industry with its stock. And Netflix has such a huge share of streaming engagement that they can make the minutes and hours owned in the Warner library, they can turn that into dollars better than anybody else in Hollywood. Of course, Amazon is extremely well capitalized. And Paramount, Skydance, and Comcast have really powerful arguments for taking a run at these assets before they are never available again.
But didn't we'll get to NBC in a second. Netflix's co-CEO Greg Peters recently say, like a couple of weeks ago, that they effectively were not interested in Warner Brothers?
Yeah, he did say that, and he said in more detail on their last earnings call that it's Netflix's opinion that strategic M&A won't change the competitive landscape significantly in streaming. I'm sure there's truth to what he says, but we need to watch Netflix actions more than their statements because they're inherently, really an innately opportunistic entrepreneurial company, and that's a compliment.
Isn't that what's supposed to be?
Historically, they've said they would never do advertising, and now they're a massive advertiser growing at 100% annually. And they said that they would never do sports, and they went out and licensed multiple sports properties over the last few years.
I don't remember that.
Things are true at Netflix until they're not.
I'm going to kind of quote Peter Supino, back to Peter Supino, because this stuff is not only in my world, but it's a little bit above my world also, if that makes sense, Peter. So as you know, and our audience, I think, knows, CNBC is being spun out with other assets, part of a new company called Versant. What's left of NBC Universal will remain with Comcast. You believe that it's possible Comcast thus spins off NBC Universal, not Versant. We're already going VRST, the new ticker. Spins off the remainder of NBC Universal, creates a new stock, and then that stock is used to buy Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yep.
In that scenario, what happens to WBD's debt? Because the issue is not the quality of their assets.
File for bankruptcy with the old company, or throw it on an
owe.
old company and then file for bankruptcy?
Great question. And yes, we think that there's a strategic opportunity paired with a financial opportunity in the transaction that you just described that we've been writing about for about a year. or more in some senses.
Let me tell you what happens sometimes in these companies. So you'll see companies split up. There's been plenty of companies that have split up certain divisions and that division live on its own, right? We've seen car companies split up and then a division live on its own, or they sell one or a group of car assets. I remember Ford Motor Company, when they were about to face, the crisis, one of the things that they sold was the Premier Automotive Group. The Premier Automotive Group included Jaguar. They sold that individually to a Indian company, if I'm not mistaken. They sold Aston Martin, and then they sold, it was one more. Jaguar, Aston Martin, and something else. And then they spun it off. But sometimes what these companies do is eBay and PayPal split up. But let me tell you what these companies do sometimes. So let's say that you have a company that has a healthy amount of money, right, coming in, or a particular part of the business that has a healthy amount of money coming in. And then you also want to buy something, but then you want to spin it off, or maybe you want to remove the debt from the company. They do a special creative accounting and financing that allows for them to be able to buy a company and then spin it off on its own division, pound on it for assets, steal all of the revenue that comes out of it, and then they basically set that company up for failure, saddle it with debt, and then that company probably at some point cease to exist. So there is some creative accounting tricks that they use to spin off debt into a separate division, allow for the healthy part of the company to thrive. The part that was dismal, that's going to go into oblivion. The debt holders are going to be absolutely angry and upset because they know that part of the company is going to hell. And so you basically saddle that part of the company with debt so that you can then have the healthy side of the company that they then grew to be successful. Happens all the time.
There's a huge valuation unlock opportunity at Comcast because NBC Universal trades
Volvo.
within Comcast at 5.5 times EBITDA and 7 times earnings, which is really stunning considering Disney, which is not an unrelated asset, trades for close to 12 times EBITDA and a much higher earnings multiple. So in that context, yes, the debt at Warner Discovery is a big deal. Warner announced last December that it had begun a process to restructure its corporation and its debts in order to maximize optionality and prepare itself for the possibility of an auction or a breakup. Because
nobody wants Warner Brothers debt.
And so we think that they're in a position to move the debts around in whatever way serve their purposes.
A lot of our viewers right now.
AD, what are they going to do with MSNBC? Well, hopefully it probably file for bankruptcy and then we'll go from there. I don't know. I don't know how solvent MSNBC is right now. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me see what we got going on here. Elevate, my dog. Elevate to the Unknown says they haven't told me the 1,800 employees who's getting let go yet. They'll find out tomorrow. Better watch what you say, people. They might work at Target and go upside your head. Shout out to Elevate to the Unknown. Zam Jones says, hello, new here. I'm not a bag chaser yet, but I'm subbed. I'm subscribed. How much would you charge for a one-time call? Well, listen, you would have to email me. Email me at AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. Email me and then we'll go from there, all right? All right, Zam Jones. Good show today. Again, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel. I love you. I appreciate you. Stay focused. The Q show is tonight. We out. Peace.